Tonight on Connecticut's news station, a rise in gun violence in one neighborhood in the capital city.
So we saw a couple of small, small apples in the mix.
Officials now stepping up efforts to keep streets safe.
We are on the weather watch tonight as showers and storms move through. It may get noisy overnight. The latest timeline and a look at the week ahead coming up.
Plus, flood funding.
I had mold. I have sinkholes in my yard. But today, looking around, I have hope.
The investment to help stop reoccurring sewer issues after storms.
And improving public transit, how a new plan looks to improve rider experience.
129 years in the making, the tradition in Farmington continues. It is opening day at Camp Current. I'm Jim Altman. We bring you sights and sounds ahead on the Fox 61 News.
Fox 61, Connecticut's news station, begins with a Weather Watch alert.
Good evening and thanks for joining us for the Fox 61 News at 6. I'm Brent Harden.
And I'm Jen Bernstein. We are in a Weather Watch alert tonight, taking a live look at the radar. Rain and storms making their way through the corner of the state right now.
And we want to send it right over to meteorologist Ryan Breton to tell us what we can expect tonight. Ryan, I know you're expecting some rumbles overnight.
Absolutely. And Brent and Jen, you put it well. It's really just a corner of the state right now that's dealing with the action. Anywhere east and south of Interstate 84 is in good shape for now and should be for a while longer. But the concerning weather at the moment is in the northeast corner of Litchfield County, where a severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect until 6:15. This storm has a history of at least hail and also some tree damage. Whether it was caused by wind or lightning, we're not quite sure, but there was a tree knocked down as this went through the town of Washington. The center of it now moving to the north of Torrington, going now into Winchester, right around Route 44 as you come into Winstead too. And there may be some hail right around where Route 8 and Route 44 come together. Putting the tracker on this as we go out in time, the next towns in line would be New Hartford, Barkhamsted, and Heartland in the next 15 minutes, and then this will be crossing over into western Massachusetts. There is one more cell too, not quite as strong, but lightning and heavy rain around Sharon and Salisbury at the moment too. More action to the west. This is expected to cross through the state tonight. I'll be back to talk much more about that. The full timeline coming up in just a little while.
All right, thank you, Ryan. Well, one of the capital city's most vibrant corridors plagued with several weeks of violent incidents.
Yeah, overnight, a man in his 20s was rushed to the hospital after a shooting on Park Street. And just days earlier, a would-be robber was shot and injured by a business owner on the same street.
Fox 61's Samaya Hernandez is in studio with what we're learning about both of those incidents. Samaya.
Yeah, Jen and Brent, merchants tell us that business is good, but police also have two active investigations on Park Street. Now, tonight we're learning that arrests are forthcoming in the nearly 2-week-old case where a shop owner fired at would-be robbers. But detectives were back out on Park Street early this morning after a man was shot in the abdomen while driving an ATV.
If Park Street ever had a slogan, it was El Pito, the whistle.
If someone threw something in the garbage, hey, pick it up and throw it in the garbage pail.
Keep it clean.
Keep it clean.
A thoroughfare and ethnic specialty hub. From bright facades to street art, Hartford's Park Street is cleaner and more vibrant than ever.
You name it, we have it all here.
The Spanish-American Merchants Association, or SAMA, helped purchase surveillance cameras and has worked to help attract new developments in the city, like the Hartford Hospital-adjacent luxury apartments and Hartford Public Library's newer Park Street branch.
We get people from New Haven, Massachusetts, New London. They come here on the weekends. This place is very busy.
Detectives are also here. 45 minutes into Monday, a man in his 20s was shot in the abdomen while driving an ATV. Nearly 2 weeks ago, the owner of Exquisite Pressure was pistol whipped by would-be robbers, one of which he critically wounded. State funding has supported new manufacturing and computer training programs here, but Hartford State Rep Miriam Khan says more needs to be done.
Until people have good education, good housing, good resources, and good programming in the area, I think it's very tough to comment on just oh, well, how can we reduce violence? I think a big piece to reducing any kind of violence is investing in our communities.
Angel Sierra owns Hispanic Vision and is president of SAMA and also plans to be here as long as he can.
It should not be something that would scare people from coming down here and, and shop. It's just isolated incidents.
And just a couple of updates for you. That would-be robber who was in critical condition 2 weeks ago has been upgraded to stable. Again, police say arrests are forthcoming in that incident. The man shot overnight is in critical but stable condition. Send it back to you.
All right, Samaya, thank you very much. Well, new tonight, the state is putting $170 million toward fixing the impacts of flooding in North Hartford.
Yeah, people in the area have been impacted by flooding and sewer backups for years, and now state leaders say they are finally addressing the issue. Fox 61 political reporter Emma Wolfhorst is with us now in studio to explain. Emma.
Brent, Jen, lawmakers and advocates today called this money a major victory for residents in Hartford's North End who have lived with flooding impacts for years. State officials acknowledging this help is long overdue.
I really don't have any prospects for where I'm going to go. So it's very hard for me to realize that I'm technically homeless.
Sharon Lewis lives in the northeast area of Hartford. Her home flooded 6 months ago.
My house is full of mold. My furnace is not working. Water company turned the water off. Lights turned off. I can't even go back home because I can't repair my home.
Lewis says her neighborhood has been ignored when it comes to flooding and sewage issues. And Monday, state leaders acknowledged what they say is years of inequality.
There was sewage bubbling up in a basement in Guilford or Greenwich. They'd be getting that fixed overnight. Well, we're going to get it fixed right here on Granby Street and beyond.
The state is investing $170 million to address sewage overflows in streets and basements in North Hartford. State officials and lawmakers say residents there have been chronically impacted by sewer overflows for years.
It's gotten worse because as our climate has changed, the intensity of those storms has gone up, the frequency of those intense storms has gone up, and our infrastructure has only gotten older.
This money will fund 12 projects to increase protections from sewer and stormwater-related flooding and backups. 5 projects are slated to start this year, with 6 beginning in 2024 and 1 in 2025.
Our basement's been flooded ever since I was a child. And everybody passed the buck to the next person, to the next person, to the next person.
$73 million of this funding will also go toward a pilot program for private property infrastructure improvements on more than 3,500 homes.
I would be able to enjoy my residence and be able to plant my flower and go in part of my house and enjoy my basement without mud, water, and floods.
And the state budget signed earlier this month also creates a pilot grant program overseen by the state comptroller to provide support to Hartford residents impacted by this flood damage. Comptroller Scanlon says in just a few weeks, once an administrator is appointed to this program, his office is planning to hold a forum to help residents apply for that money. Jen, Brent.
All right, Emma, thank you. We have an update now. Meriden police have made another arrest in connection to a street takeover last month. Police have charged Celia Rivera, who was seen on video in the crowd during the May 6th takeover in the parking lot of the Lowe's outlet store on East Main Street. 3 others have already been arrested in connection to that takeover. Rivera is being held on $25,000 bond.
A 15-year-old is dead after a crash in Brooklyn yesterday. Police identifying her as Chanel Edwards. Officials say the car she was in failed to stop at the intersection of Allen Hill Road and Route 205, hit a tree head-on, and then went down an embankment. We spoke with neighbors who witnessed that crash and say the intersection where it happened is dangerous.
We've only been here 2 years, but in the 2 years that we've been here, there have been 2 fatal accidents within a mile of our house. The cars go really fast.
4 others were in the car at the time of the crash. 3 17-year-olds, one of whom was driving, and a 21-year-old. At last check, 2 of those people were in critical condition.
We have an update now on a serious crash in Orange. We know now one of the victims in that crash has died. He's been identified as 22-year-old Miguel Rodriguez of Willimantic. The crash happened yesterday afternoon at the intersection of Derby Avenue and Racebrook Road. Police say 19-year-old Jeremy Rodriguez of Bridgeport ignored a traffic light and hit a truck. 4 others were also hurt in that crash, and police have charged Jeremy Rodriguez with DUI and reckless driving.
Well, 2 Middletown firefighters are recovering tonight after being injured while putting out a fire at a machine shop. It happened yesterday on Liberty Street. Officials say the flames spread from the shop to a neighboring home. The injured firefighters are expected to be okay. 7 adults and 1 child were displaced by the fire. An investigation is underway to determine what caused the blaze.
New tonight, Attorney General William Tong is backing a rule to reduce barriers to health care for Dreamers. The new rule would ensure DACA recipients can obtain affordable health care insurance regardless of whether their employer provides coverage. The DACA program was created back in 2012 under the Obama administration to grant legal work authorizations and protection from deportation to young people who were brought to the U.S. at a young age. In 2020 alone, Connecticut's more than 3,000 DACA recipients contributed more than $300 million to the state's economy. And also new tonight, Attorney General Tong is supporting new amendments made by the Federal Trade Commission to protect consumers from deceptive auto renewal programs. Now, right now, companies don't need consent for each reoccurring charge, but now companies will be required to clarify terms of enrollment and offer reminders of upcoming charges. They must also offer easy and immediate cancellation options.
Well, still